Hello and welcome to the Dutch Inn channel. It's Tuesday evening, the 16th of April 2024, just gone 9:05 in the evening. And we're going to look back at the results today from Ffos, Newcastle on your weather and Newmarket. Now we've had a reasonable day today, but it's not an overall win if you look at the stats which I'm about to show you. If you look down in the right hand corner here, I'll just bring it up away from the banner at the bottom. You can see that our profit today would have been £27.67. Now the reason I say that is because if you forget Newcastle at the moment here, which we only had one winner incidentally, so we would have lost £200 there tonight. And I've been pretty lucky at Newcastle, so it's a bit unusual I've only got one winner. But if you look back at Ffos, we had one winner and a part winner, which gave us a return of 77.67, which was a profit. And you can see at Newmarket here we had the first four winners, and then after that we had the last loser and a profit of £150. But going back earlier this afternoon, I'd had the 150 winner at Newmarket, followed by the 220 and the 230 at Ffos, and then the 255 at Newmarket. And I thought to myself, I've got a big gap now until, if you look at the next race at Newmarket, it was 1640. Right, we had a 1650 at Ffos and a 1657 at Newcastle. And I thought, well, I've got just under 2 hours, hour and 3/4 or something. And I thought, I've actually profited £200 in the first four races. So I contacted all the members. Obviously, people are at work at that time of the day. So I had a couple of people get back to me and they said they were happy for me to stop, because we want to close back to at least with our money back at the moment. And that was going to be a big jump in one go. Well, you can see if I'd have carried on that I would have had, I'd have had a winner again at Newmarket, because the 1641, then the 1650, I had a part win there. But then, as I said, the whole of Newcastle and the last race at Newmarket would have put me down to £27 up, which would have been hardly worth it. But you don't know, you can't foresee what's going to happen. And I used to do this when I was doing the system on my own. I used to look at it sometimes and think, I've made some good money for the day, why don't I just pack up? And there's a lot of times this month that I've been in front by £100, £150, and I haven't done it, and it's gone on. And even some of them have got to the end of the evening and I've lost. So I think what I've got to do now is just take what I can and try and get in front, because the idea for April was to make a profit. Maybe not as high as it was in March, but definitely something, instead of losing the money like we did in the first week. But we've managed to get most of it back now, and we're with that today. Let's have a look at the profit and loss sheet here. You can see this one here. I've just put 4 races there of a plus 200 profit, and we're 2.79 stakes down now. So again, if you would have backed in all these 252 races for £1, you'd have been losing £2.79. And I'm sure there will be hundreds of people out there that would be happy just to be losing under £3 for 252 bets, because it has been a difficult month, a very, very difficult month. I do get people message me from time to time, they're always better than what you are. But when I say if you can just send me your horses in advance, it's the same old thing. No one sends anything. Yeah, because I know deep down they can't do it. And if I'm getting close to my money back here, then I'm really happy with that. I tried to explain to someone today, this is my living, this is what I do. All right, but going back, if you carry March forward into April, I'm still 2,900 quid from March. I know you've got to now perhaps halve that if I don't get anything or just get a little bit of profit into 2 months, but it's still 1,500 quid a month. And I say I'm not working for it, but I'm putting in a 15-hour day, but it's something that I enjoy doing. So at the moment, I'm sure, as I said, there's a lot of punters out there that have had a very, very bad time of April. I'm sure that, I used to get people around just after Cheltenham contacting me and said, I don't know anyone that's made a profit. I only made £140 profit in the 4 days combined, but it was profit, and that's the word that I keep trying to get into people's head, is just profit and profit. So today, when I knew I had nearly a 2-hour gap, I thought, I've got to cash out. I've got to just take that money now and run for the day. And I still don't have a break because I'm still doing the selections for tomorrow. And there's some horrible racing tomorrow. And I say horrible, it's mostly good racing, but there's like 18 runner fields. It takes for ages to do it. So that's how we've got on today. Still people can join up if they want to and put money in. I still have people, maybe not as frequent as it was as we started into April, but I'm still getting a couple of people a day contacting and want to come into the system, or I've got people coming through eBay that want to do it as well. Well, they just buy it on eBay. So yeah, I mean, if you punt on a daily basis, in your head, truthfully, you know what you're winning or you're losing. Yeah, and if I've had an enormous amount of bets, and if you look down in the left-hand corner here, I've also staked £12,600. So to get back near enough everything, I'm £139 down out of 1,000 quid. But I'm happy with that. But I like to say what it is for a pound, because if you had £252 in your pocket and you'd come out 279 less with all those bets in all those days, you'll be over the moon. But I know there's people out there that have done their money, and there'll be people out there that have been profiting as well. But there's been some serious prices, and I'm getting through those serious prices. I've decided now, going back a few days ago, I wasn't going to back any more odds-on favourites. But luckily, with the bets that I've done, and well, there was one yesterday, and I just totally wrote it off because I gave it to win. If I was to give the second and third favourites in a 3-horse race, I'd most probably bet on them. But I'm not going to do an odds-on favourite because it just takes all your money. And, when I look back over the period that I've been on here, you don't profit in the long run. You go back to El Fabiolo at 9-2 on at Cheltenham, and you think, I'll just put the 50 quid on that, end up with about £11 profit. And when you do your 50 quid, it's in cold blood. It's just pointless doing it. So what we'll do now, we'll go in and have a look at today's results, and we will start with Newmarket, where we did, as I said, we did pretty well here. Now again, 14 runner handicap. T Spirit was my selection, well, not my top selection, but I did manage to get the first and the fourth. But the first here won at 11.1. So again, it was still going to be a difficult selection for everybody to find. It wasn't an easy one. And Mia Nichols just rides it for all she's worth, goes clear, and then has to paddle in the last half a furlong, but she held on. That was the main thing there. Then we went into the second race. This was me big winner of the afternoon, if you like. It was also my second selection. This was Watcher Matey, and the Betfair SP there was 51.2. So even if you would have just been backing my top selections and my second selections throughout March and April, you'd have had a substantial profit, because I've had a 53 winner, I've had a 67 winner, I've had some really big ones. So it would have paid for itself if you only followed then and just had a level £1 on each. You'd have still been winning quite a lot of money. But that one today, how many people found that? It's a difficult one. And then we went into the third race, and I had this Hafit Alain. So that was another winner that come very late on the scene, and that's one at 25.9. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not just backing one in a race. I know that. But you've still got to be able to pick it on some kind of system. And the second there, which is one of my favourite horses, is Dutch Decoy. And I really thought that was going to hold on. But it must have, I don't know what the distance was in the end, but it must have been a nose. That's all that could have been. And then I had the third as well, but I did sort of back 9 horses. So again, another hard winner to find in the first 3 races, but I've managed to double my money each time. Then we go into the fourth race, or our fourth race. This was the 440, and this was, I say it was lucky. I don't know if it was lucky really. Eye of Dubai had beaten Brunel Nation, and then there was a lengthy Stewart inquiry, and they reversed it. So I managed getting my top selection at 4.4 as the winner. But I'd already cashed out by this time, so it didn't make any difference to me. Then in the last race there at Newmarket, our Havana, I didn't fancy it at all. Went off second favourite, but I didn't fancy it. That was it really. But it was always up there. Then I sort of have changed. I wouldn't say I've changed my system in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just trying to back in less races, because when I sat there over the weekend, this is what's got me so far behind and having to put videos on the following morning. Two I was behind at one point. There were 6 meetings, and about 40 odd races. And I thought, this is just a silly amount of racing to bet in. What can I do to make it less races? Because I don't want to be spending 9-10 hours just sitting there at the computer tapping numbers in it. It's very soul destroying. But I know I'm here to make a profit, but surely you can condense the meetings you're doing. And you can't look at Newcastle tonight and say, well, perhaps don't do the evening racing, because the evening racing's got me out of a lot of trouble. So you can't predict. Someone said to me the other day, why don't you leave out, the grass at the moment on the flat, because no one's really run on it for 6 months, if you like. And of course, then I have a very good Newmarket today. There's so much I could add or leave out, but you can't. You have to be doing all those meetings. But as for when it gets round to the end of the week, and sometimes you have 5 or 6 on a Friday, the same on a Saturday. It was 9 on Bank Holiday Monday, going back a while, in April. And when I look back at these days, I never seem to win. So I don't know what to do for the best. Maybe don't bet on a Saturday. Maybe don't bet on a Bank Holiday Monday. But we'll have a look at that as time goes on. So yeah, I only had 2 bets here at Ffos, and in the first one of those two, I had Hermes Legree, and that one, that was at a 3.18, so that was a nice selection. And then in the second race we were betting on there, which was past the time that I'd already cashed out, was Marland. And Marland, that went off favourite as well at 3.55, but that was only my cover selection in 4th place. But again, it was still a winner and 70 something pound back. And then we went into Newcastle. This was the final meeting of the evening, and this is where it just went to pieces, really. Gastronomy, that wins at 2.63. I haven't even got that. And I can say to you, yeah, back the second there, which I did. Then we'll look here, right down the very bottom. I don't know how I'm picking out selections that are so badly rated and are coming through and winning. So we had Federated here. They did back that from a large price this morning, and that just held on. And yes, I had the second. So, when I get through the card and I think, well, I may have had 5 losers and 5 seconds there. So it does make me think that I'm doing something right somewhere along the line. Then we go into the 6 o'clock. Outrun the Storm. This has come through on one at 24.63. I didn't have that one. I didn't have the second. I did have the third. So again, I like to think that, perhaps it wasn't all too terrible, but this again was my last selection, and I've had plenty of those recently. Then we went into the 7:30. This was a little bit of money back. This was the one winner I had. I'd backed 5 different horses here. Angel of Antrim was up there with Wallaroo like a pacemaker all the way, and no one came and challenged, and that duly won. And I thought, well, if I can get the last 2 winners, it won't look so bad. And of course, then we go into the 8 o'clock. Then we get another big winner, 26 this time, Socialise. I didn't have the first, I didn't have the second. I had 9 horse race and I had 6 of them, and I still couldn't get the first and second. So that was another winner. You just scratch your head, how's that one? And then we went to the last race, into the 8:30 at Newcastle. And I don't know what it is, when you get round to that last race, you always seem to back like the shortest ones for some reason in that last race. So I've got first, second, third, well, I'll say first, second and 4th favourites. And of course, the 3rd favourite comes through and wins it. I haven't got that one at all. So it was a very poor ending to a very good start. But I'm just so glad that I had that hour and 3/4 gap to think to myself, let's stop for the day. So I ain't going to think about doing that more. But of course, I would always block text everybody to let them know I'm going to do it. So yeah, that was that. And then what I just want to go back on is a couple of, or 3 days, I didn't change the system, but I decided to do the value bets because it was one way of not having to do the odds on favours. But when you've got these big fields like we've recently had, because the weather's changing, we've now got good ground, there's more runners. So if we go back to the first race, you'll see here that the first one, T Spirit, was a value bet because the price was bigger in the Betfair column rather than the MySP. And then in the second race, again, this 51.2, I made that some silly price of about 7 to 1. So that was another winner I had. Then we go to this 3rd winner I've got halfway down, which was Hafit Alain. That was another one. That was the 3rd on the trot there. Then we came into the 440 Brunel Nation. That was a value bet as well. So I've now got 4 of those up. Then we have a loser in the last there, so at the moment I'm on 4. Then the one at Ffos last there wasn't. Then Marland at Ffos last wasn't as well. Gastronomy, that went off a favourite, there was no chance in that one. And nor the next race. And the next race, I would say, when you've got something at 24.63 and I've got 28.20, you're not far off. You mostly could have got that price, but I won't put that down. Angel of Antrim, that was another sort of close one. A bit earlier in the day, you could have got that. Then Socialise was another winner. This was 26 and I had 11. And the last race, this wasn't anywhere near. So I did manage 5 winners out of 13. Now, if you're going to back 5 value bets out of 13 bets that you do, you should return around 15 for your 5 winners, because each winner is normally around a third. So to get 15 winners and 13 losers, yeah, you may have just made a bit more profit than if we had carried on the way we did tonight, right the way through. But there's not a lot in it. So at the moment, the people that wanted to join prefer the way I do it, working from the top, Dutching going down. So that's the way we're gonna keep with it. But if I do get in front by about 3 figures, then at the moment I will stop, because I want to try and get some kind of profit moving somewhere, and then we'll see how we get on. But we're gonna do another video after this of the selections for tomorrow. Again, I haven't got that many races. You can see today from down the bottom here, there was only 13 races I selected. And yeah, we'll just see whether we can keep the profit rolling, and then we'll take it from there. But I hope you all had a good day punting as well, and if not, we'll catch up tomorrow. Thanks for watching.